All right. Good evening, everybody. Guy Fong. Welcome to Masterchef Rewind Thursdays. My name is John Leung. Tonight we have another guest here in our little 10th anniversary podcast series. So again, if you've been here before, welcome back. If you've never been before, welcome in. We are usually on Twitch Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. 6 p.m. Eastern. We're always cooking or we're doing something fun. So if you haven't followed yet, please, of course, follow us on Twitch. Or, of course, if you're watching on whatever platform, again, please feel free to follow me there as well, too. So again, tonight is our very, very first interview. And hey, we have a very, very special guest, someone who is very, very near and dear to my heart. Also very near and dear to the city as well, too. We have, you know what, honestly, and this is someone I have known for a long, long time. And honestly, I mean, for the last few years, I've lost track with a lot of the people from MasterChef. And wow, I mean, the fact that she actually agreed to do this, honestly, I'm a little surprised as well too. So again, I do thank her from the bottom of my heart. Let me quickly introduce to you my very good friend and one of my best friends from here in Calgary, Nikita. Nikita, how are you doing today? Welcome to the
Hi,
the Guy Fong
everyone.
Clan. Hello,
Hi,
welcome in.
everyone. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with your community, John. You are such a great person, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Don't you? You do go on. You do go on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, but so again, yeah. So, but before we kind of get into like the meat and potatoes of the of our chat today here, could you just maybe say just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about Nikita.
Sure. So my name is Nikita. I'm born and raised Calgarian. So been in the city for quite a while. And I had the pleasure of connecting with John, obviously, because of that show we all love, MasterChef Canada. So, yeah, great to connect with him as well as so many other people. And I do a few things in the city. Currently, I'm a director for a nonprofit organization that is on a mission to bring healthy food to as many people as possible. So we're called Fresh Roots, and we set up pop-up affordable grocery stores, so mobile grocery stores all across the city and surrounding area. So been doing that for a while. I also started a food truck about 5 years ago. So that's a side gig, and do some other cool things, teaching cooking classes, private catering, cooking for friends and family, and just obviously sharing my love of food. So yeah, great to be here.
Exactly, and also like yours truly. Again, not tooting my own horn. Also, one of the very very few people in Canada who've worn a white apron as well too, like a MasterChef
Correct.
apron. Exactly right.
Correct.
Hey, put it up right here, right? I mean,
Woo!
there it is. So a little
Go us.
white apron club, right? I mean, hey, I
Yes,
mean,
we
and one
are,
of the very
and
few
proud.
people in exactly and proud of it. Of course, none of us ever got none of us ever got one as well too, right? Which is a little bit of but anyway, we'll talk more about that, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the work that Nikita does a little bit later. But let's of course get into a little bit of the thing as well too. First things first. When they did it now, because you were on season 2, right? You were on the season right after me. When the
Correct.
first season wrapped, like when did you kind of decide that you were going to apply? Like what was the thought process? When you applied, or did you apply for season 1?
Yeah.
Or how did it work?
Yeah. So great question. As soon as I heard the show was coming to Canada, I was jazzed, loved the US version, loved Gordon Ramsay. And I was like, I always told myself, if this show comes to Canada, I am trying out. So, of course, it did.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, recorded my video and applied for season 1. I was so excited to get on the show, and then I never heard anything. So it was crickets, and I was like, "Oh man, must have been stiff competition."
Mm-hmm.
And then season 2 rolled around, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to apply. Bummer, they didn't want me." But then I'll never forget the moment I was driving right past the Zoo Bridge. Those who are in Calgary will know it well.
Mm-hmm.
And I get this phone call from a number I didn't know. I answer, And it was someone from MasterChef, and they're like, "Hey, Nikita, we loved your video. We had like so many people apply season 1, so we couldn't get you in, but we'd love to invite you to audition for season 2." And so that was the start of my journey to MasterChef Canada. That
Nice,
phone call.
nice. I
Yeah.
know, right? It all begins with that phone call, right? Like that number, that
Yeah.
unidentified number. Like, are you pranking me right now? Or did you ever get that feeling? Should I even pick this up or something like that? When you get the call?
I didn't have any bills overdue, so I was like, "This isn't a collection call. I'm gonna see who this is."
Oh, hey, that's a great way to look at it. Hey,
Yeah.
let's see. My card isn't overdue. Okay, you know,
Yeah.
might
We good.
might
We
split it out
good.
too, right? So, exactly.
Yeah.
So I do want to say again. We did. I'm sorry. Sometimes English is a little bit hard for me as well too. So once you got the call, did you have to? Because I know we had to cook for the producers here in Calgary before they picked people to go to Toronto. Did you have to do that, or did you go straight to Toronto?
No, I had to audition still here in Calgary. So yeah, it was at a hotel downtown. They gave me the date, gave me the parameters around, what equipment, which was nothing, would be present and available. And so that's when the fun began of choosing like a dish that would be appropriate to travel and showcase to the judges here in town, without having like anything to warm something up or any cooking equipment, basically. So that was step 1.
Yep. And then I think you still had the interview as well too, right? So I think they talked to you afterwards. I do remember that as well too.
They did. Yeah, it was fairly brief, but yeah, they did a little interview. I think just kind of seeing what your goals are, making sure you're not crazy.
Oh, ain't that the true sister, right?
Yeah, they got to do some sort of screening and their due diligence. But I remember that interview there wasn't too much pressure. I was feeling good at that point.
Awesome. And I think it sounds like this. It was the same for me as well too, because I remember they told us that you got to bring a plate. Everything has, if it's supposed to be warm, you better serve it warm, or I have to keep it warm for like X amount of hours. And literally my poor ADHD brain was going like, oh my god, how am I going to keep this rundown warm for like 6 hours while I travel on the train and go to the hotel?
Yeah.
So what did you make for them, by the way? Just out of curiosity, what did you make? What did you make for them?
So I went the cold route. So I made prawn and scallop ceviche with a like plantain crisp. So kind of like a little chip to eat it with. And then I did, kind of going on the tropical flavors, a mango French macaron cookie. So, yeah.
Wow. You never told me this. You may have told me this. I might have been drunk when you told me this, but
probably.
Because this is very likely my first time hearing it or first time remembering it, and my brain is like blown as well too. Because seriously, but again, I know this something again. We'll talk a little bit. We'll get to Toronto in just a few seconds as well too here. But when you looked around the room though, like when you looked at all the other dishes, because I also looked at the other dishes as well too, right? I'm going like I thought my dish, like my non-taco, was like awful as well too, right? But like, what were you feeling when you saw some of the other dishes? And did you see any of the people who also made it onto the show with you as well too?
Yeah, there was a few that joined in Toronto, so that was nice to find out afterwards. You were kind of sizing up the food and sizing up the people, for sure, doing that mental check against yourself. I think some feelings similar to you, John, like, oh my gosh, my ceviche kind of just looks like blah, like pretty plain on the plate. Is this going to cut it? So all of those feelings of self-doubt definitely go through your head. Heart's beating pretty fast. And you just want to do your best and make a good impression.
Exactly, and that's literally the thing as well too, right? And then sometimes I think from what I remember as well too, I think at the end of the day, I think it's the presentation and the taste that actually wins the day as well too, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, then of course once you get past then you get the whole camera part, that's completely separate as well too, right? But anyway, so but again, you the dish you made it made it again. So you made it on the show. You flew to Toronto. So when you got to the hotel, I think your experience was very likely very similar to mine as well too, right? So who are some of the people you met that right away that you really kind of clicked with? And again, hey, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but any people who you were thinking like, better keep an eye on that guy as well too, right? So some maybe saying some shifty ones and some of the good ones. Who are some of the people that you really clicked with, or people you didn't really click with?
Yeah.
Name some names as well too. Sorry.
For sure. So my roommate for sure, like we met and clicked. Her name's Mishi. Big German girl, very blunt, bold. Yeah, we hit it off instantly. So that's always nice that your roommate is someone you can get along with.
Yep.
Meg Tucker, shout out to Meg. I love her.
She's coming up soon, by the way. I'm so excited.
Ian, a lot of my Alberta peeps were the ones that I clicked with right away. We all kind of were arriving there at the same time, so that was really nice.
Oh, they didn't put it on the same flight? They didn't put it on the same flight?
I was on the same flight with I think like one other person, but yeah, we were all kind of like, yeah, it was weird. And in terms of people I was like sizing up, I'm the kind of person that I'm going to be nice to everyone, and you'll never know. So I definitely had my eyes on some people, but we'll just say that I just flash them my killer smile, and they don't know. They're none the wiser.
Oh, so go to the.
I don't kiss and tell.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But that's okay. I mean, but hey, you mentioned a few names, especially Meg Tucker, who we are going to be interviewing sometime very soon. The guy from
Awesome.
You'll be hearing from very soon as well too. So she's made a huge name for herself as well too. But more on her later. But tonight is all about Nikita, by the way. So we don't want to again. Sorry, Meg. But tonight's all about our girl Nikita here. So you got through the whole 50. You went to the whole. Wait, was it 49 or 50 for you? I think it was 49, right?
It was 50 for us.
Yep, it was 50 for you as well too. So you got to the 50, and then you got to the 26. This is where I'm a little jealous because you actually got to cook in the MasterChef kitchen. I never went on our top 26. We never got that, so I'm a little jealous on that. So hashtag just saying. So I mean, I might be want to do that, but I know, but I was watching you cook as well too, and you were going and going and going. It looked like everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but again, refresh everybody's memory as well too. I think they tapped you on the shoulder for some reason. What happened there?
I didn't get tapped on the shoulder, but I did kind of like lose it, and I've been cooking for years. I had did a little. I actually tried out for another cooking competition, like a year or two prior, and then when I was in high school, I went to the skills competition for culinary arts. So I had done some like pressure cooking, but I think it's new equipment, the lights, the cameras in your face. It's an experience that if you've never done it, you can never really prepare for it. And so, yeah, I just kind of like choked a bit and just kind of forgot, some of the fundamentals and what I was doing. And yeah, like my pork, like I just like, I didn't cook my pork right. My vegetables weren't going great. It just kind of fell apart. Yeah. So that was, the nerves got to me for sure.
Oh, dude. I mean, and you were not alone as well, too, right? I think I do remember in my season a lot, like especially at the top 50 and the top 26. I mean, the nerves got to me as well, too, right? In the top 26, the nerves definitely got to me as well, too, right? So, I mean, what was this? So when you get to that kind of pressure, though, can you describe a little bit for the people who may have not actually, for people who've actually not done this, what's going on in your mind? Like, I mean, I could tell. I've told people what was going on in my mind, but what was going on in your mind?
Well, I think for me, I was feeling a bit jaded that I even had to cook. There was certain people that just kind of made the pass, and I felt like I should have been one of those. So I think there was a little bit of that. And then, yeah, just, you go in with a plan and then maybe you have to change the plan. And so, yeah, just feeling the pressure and trying to remind yourself that you can do this. Like, you've cooked before, like you're a good cook.
Yep.
It's that inner battle with, your voice and your head. And then having that translate to your like hands and like moving and doing the things that need to be done. So yeah, it's like an inner battle with yourself. You're your own worst critic. And there's also the race of the clock, right? The pressure of that, of like getting everything done on time. So yeah, it's an interesting experience. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's definitely like a thrill and a rush, but yeah. Yeah.
And have you and since then, again, we'll get a little bit to after the cameras went off, again, depending on how much you can tell us as well too, right? Again, I don't know. I don't know what our agreements are as well too, but again, we'll try to dance around a little bit as well too. But like, have you applied for any shows after MasterChef at all, or have you just kind of gone like, eh?
No, MasterChef was the last one. I've thought about it, and there's definitely been opportunities that have kind of presented themselves. Nice. But yeah, it was quite the experience.
It is.
And so I'm not saying that it will never happen again, but yeah, it just hasn't been the right time for me.
And I mean, sometimes, I mean, it's you never know as well too, right? I mean, what's next for Nikita, right? I did talk to Chris Mask. I mean, who as well too. You and I both know as well too, right? I mean, he had Wall of Chefs come up as well too, and the guy won the whole thing as well too, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it was his time. I mean, he has his thing. You have your thing. I mean, we all walk our own path as well too, right? So I mean, but we can talk a little bit more later. But so okay, so let's go back. Let's rewind the clock just a little bit here. So now that so you've been told goodbye. Please take your apron. Please take your apron and go. They probably I think they probably shoved you right off to the airport right away. I think as far as I remember as well too, right? So
pretty much,
the same to you, or? Yeah. So, what was it? So as you were kind of flying back to Calgary, when they were flying back to Calgary, like what was the thing? What was kind of in your mind at the same time as well? I know sounds I'm repeating the same question, but like, but yeah, what was going through your mind when you were doing that? When you were flying back home to Calgary, like, or for the next couple days afterwards?
Yeah, definitely some disappointment and yeah, just feeling like, oh man, did I blow it? Like, what could I have done wrong? I should go rewinding in your head, like the mistakes you make and what you could have did better. But then also kind of like a sense of relief to be back, with family and back into the old routine. And, as some people may or may not know, you kind of are excommunicated from your loved ones at home. Like you can't communicate with them unless it's supervised. So it's of course to keep the integrity of the show. So that's so all of those things. So yeah, it was the obvious of disappointment but yeah, a little bit of relief.
You know what I mean? It does feel like a weight of kind of in a way, kind of for you. It sounds like it just like a weight has left off yours, or like I'm done with this and blah 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 as well too, right? So, or am I on the button, or am I a little off on this one here?
Well, yeah, I think everyone tries out for a show like this for various reasons. Obviously, to win. But I think, whether it's to prove something to yourself, to prove to someone else, to test the waters, to see if cooking is actually your passion, whatever it is, you have your reason for going. So I think whenever that your journey ends, you have to be satisfied with the effort you did and how far you got. You know, I made it. I was the only competitor from Calgary that made it onto the show. And so that, you know, there's all those things to actually celebrate as well. One thing I loved was the judges on the first round when we were doing our signature dish told me, my food was the best thing they had eaten. And they aired that on the show. And so, to me, that was like enough. It was validation that like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I can cook, and like, what's next? So.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hold on. Actually, before you, did you get 3 yeses or did you get two and
I got 3 yeses, baby. They loved it. They said it was the best thing they had eaten. So yeah, it was a wash. They loved it.
Amen, sister. I think I'm not totally sure because I remembered Alvin Leung gave me a yes, and I remembered I don't think Michael Bonaccini said anything. I think by the time it got to Michael for me, I think because Claudio and Alvin had both said yes already, Michael was going to give me a yes anyway, I think. So I mean, even if he was going to say no, I still got 2. Honestly, I'm just gonna say Michael Bonaccini was going to give me a yes as well too. So.
He was going to give you a yes. He was giving you a yes.
Yes, exactly. Right. I mean, yeah. Michael, Chef Michael, if you're watching, yes, thank you for the yes as well too. I love you too. Thank you.
We love you, Chef.
No, we love you, Chef. Anyway, so that's okay. Now the show is air. So again, we're gonna move a little farther, a little clock here. I know we're jumping a little bit farther, a little bit as well too. I'm hoping I'm not losing here. But so now that the experience is over and you have you've done the show. Oh, so I mean, dang it. What was the question? I'm trying to ask her. So now that the show is over, it's aired. Probably people probably recognize you on the street for a while and everything. Once the spotlight ends, like what was the next step for Nikita after the shine had worn off of MasterChef? Like what was the next step? What was the next few months after the glow had worn off was like? Well, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it was definitely like a high for sure. Like you said, like people are excited, and when you can finally announce it, and viewing parties and interviews and all of that fun stuff. But then it's like such a high, and then it's kind of like, okay, back to normal life and back to reality. For me, it came with like a job change. So my job was kind of on the line by going on the show. My boss kind of said, I don't know, like, yeah, whatever. It was a blessing in disguise. Because I always say, like, going on this show, changing jobs, it was kind of like the catalyst for me to get back into food as my full-time gig, whatever that looked like, because I was in a completely different industry while I was on the show auditioning in Toronto. So I actually took a trip to Europe. So went to Italy and Spain and ate so much delicious food and just got like super inspired being there, and then came back. And like I just kind of jumped right into my culinary food-led career. So and it that's kind of what happened.
Where has that led to, though? I mean, you mentioned earlier that you were working on a food truck now. So tell us a little bit about this food truck here.
Yeah, so if anyone out there has ever seen my audition video, it's on YouTube. But I mentioned in it that I'd always wanted to start a food truck. I always wanted to have my own food truck. Yep. And so that happened, but it wasn't the food, let's just say, that I thought it would be. So my food truck is called Pooch and Perks. I started it because I became a dog mom and fell in love with the cutest dog ever, Biggie Smalls. And just started making him treats, in the kitchen. He had an allergy, and so I started doing that. And then I was trying to find somewhere to sell the treats. And then this idea came to my spouse and I that it'd be really cool to have a food truck at a dog park, busy dog park, for the dogs. And then it would have like things for the dog owners too, because of course we know the humans are the ones with the money. So Pooch and Perks was born out of that idea. So we make confectionery treats for dogs. So we have like a dog snow cone called the Elvis. We do puppuccinos. We make dog donuts, a whole lineup of different doggy things. And then we also do things for people. So that's where my culinary creativity could come out as well. I am Caribbean, and so I really wanted to infuse some of my Jamaican culture in there. So we have Jamaican street food as well. So you can go to the park, walk your dog, and also enjoy a cold beverage, coffee, homemade Jamaican patty, so a couple dishes with some plantain, and whatever other specials I feel inspired to make. So so it's been a little bit of a fun adventure and something very niche, but it's been a lot of fun.
I mean, that's exciting as well too, right? And you were, I mean, and you didn't even get into like the top 16 or anything like that too, right? So, and I mean, did you ever? I mean, and I don't know, is it just me as well too, right? Because I always thought that you have to get into like the top 16s and like the top 10s and like that to really succeed. And I mean, Nikita, and if I don't mind me proselytizing for about 30 seconds as well too, is that, I mean, look at you. I mean, you have your own food truck. I mean, I dreamed of my own food truck, and I'm nowhere close to that as well too, right? But here you are. I mean, you never got into the top 16 of season 2. You didn't even get a top 10. You were in the top 26. You were finished the same way. And look at you as well too, right? I mean, you are doing amazingly as well too, right? Actually, before we move on as well too, tell us about. Can you also tell the guy Fong, especially those who are in Canada, where your food truck is located, by the way? So I know.
So I'm in Calgary. So we frequent the Sue Higgins Dog Park, which is in the southeast, and then pop up for special events as well.
Very nice, very nice. And a lot of night markets, I'm guessing, right? Or
yeah, we do some night markets, and summer's obviously our main season. As we are in Calgary, it's pretty hard to run through the winter. We're not in California, unfortunately, but
And don't we all wish it was California all the time, eh, sister? Anyway. Oh, sorry. Oh, hold on. Give me a second.
Okay.
The things too. So sorry, just got a little distracted for there. But it says that we have a few more minutes left as well too here. But so again, we still have a little bit, no rush as well too. But and then also you also mentioned something about your pop-up grocery store as well too. So not only did you also have your own business, you're also doing your own catering as well too. Hopefully, of course, we'll get a few photos from Nikita of some of her food. We'll share that on the Discord a little bit later. Tell us a little bit about this this pop-up grocery store as well too, because I mean, it sounds amazing. I mean, and I think this is the second time you told me about this. Once again, sometimes people, Nikita probably tells me things that when I'm probably drunk, and I probably forgot about this one too. Anyway, I'll shut up now. And Nikita, tell us a little about this, please.
Yeah, sure. So I've always had a couple passions, food being one of them, but also community and like social impact. So I've always volunteered, and I guess I never really saw nonprofit as an industry, but it kind of fell into my lap. And so I started with another nonprofit organization kind of right after MasterChef, and then left that organization and kind of was recruited to work at my now organization, which is called Fresh Roots. So we're a nonprofit social enterprise. And basically we realized that, there's a lot of different food supports that kind of are a Band-Aid solution. So like a food bank, which are great and obviously needed, but they don't really address the issue of food insecurity. And so we wanted to make a way that was convenient, accessible, affordable, for people to access healthy food. Fruits and vegetables are one of the things people oftentimes pass up because they can't afford it, when they're at the grocery store and they opt for something cheaper with less nutrition. So
and more preservatives, of course.
And more preservatives. So that's like our mission, is to get people eating healthier and to make it as easy as possible. So one of the really cool things about Fresh Roots, we have a mobile bus. So we retrofitted an old city transit bus. And so the bus acts as the market. So you can walk in and do your grocery shopping right on the bus. It's super cool. So yeah, I'm really proud to be doing some work with this organization. Like it, it addresses my love of food and helping people. So it's kind of a cool way to have my foodie, spirit come out in a real meaningful way. So I'm really happy to be doing the work with Fresh Roots.
And I'm so happy for you as well too. I mean, you have done so well since the show as well too. And like I said earlier as well too. I mean, you only just got got to wear one of those top 26 aprons without your name on it, just like yours truly as well too. And look at where look at the distance between you and me as well. But then again, I mean, we're all on different paths as well too, right? So, but anyway,
yeah, I think that I want to speak to that a little bit, John, because I think for people watching or who want to try out on the show. Yeah, you want to win, but I think, the experience is part of the journey. And so, not making it to top 10, top 16, like that doesn't matter, because you did what so many people haven't done, and you can take it to wherever you want. Like, I think after the show is where I really came into myself with that self-confidence of okay, I did this, what is next and what else can I do? And so I don't think I needed to win MasterChef or to be in the top 5, top 10, top 16. Fuck, I can write my own name on my own apron and be a MasterChef of my own kitchen. And that's the lesson sister. I want everybody to know.
Exactly, because you are the MasterChef of your own kitchen. Wow.
Damn right.
Damn right, sister.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Oh my God, I got so excited. I got all fired up. All of a sudden, I didn't even knock my own AirPod.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Amen, sister. So too, right? So again, and I know we're starting this running. Again, we're coming close to the end of our thing. Again, I know. Hopefully, and Nikita, I really hope that we will be able to hang out. Hopefully, maybe we'll have you come to my house and maybe say we'll do some cooking as well too. So
yes,
if you're open with that.
That is long overdue.
I know. I have never cooked with Nikita before. And we were both different seasons. I've never cooked with her before. And then Guy Fong, you will actually get to talk to her live as well too. So I know tonight is recorded because this is our very first podcast. So you're seeing this on a Thursday night after we're done our making our dish tonight. So Guy Fong, again, I want to thank you. Nikita, I do want to give you a few more minutes here. Do you have any final thoughts as well too? So besides that absolute rousing MasterChef, you are your own MasterChef. Any final thoughts you have at all before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just I think everyone has that star quality and is meant to do something really cool with their lives, whether it's cooking, whether it's even just home cooking for your family, trying a new recipe from a new culture that you've never tried. I know, John, you're inspiring people to cook things they probably have never tried or never dreamed of trying. So yeah, I would just, if you want to try something, if you dream about it, if you think about it, don't let our experiences and not making it as far deter you, and don't let that negative self-talk deter you, because you're meant for something great. And MasterChef is just one thing on my bucket list. I think there's going to be so many more, and I'm just super excited to see where the next 10 years takes us. I'm so excited to see where that journey leads. And the other piece I do want to touch on is the best part about trying out for this show and getting on the show and the experience was the people I met, the people I connected with. That has meant the world to me. I've gone to weddings of people from the show, dinner parties, collaborated on different things, volunteered. So that is irreplaceable, and you can't even really quantify that, because relationships are so amazing. Those are what take you through life. And so to me, that's been the best experience, is meeting so many amazing people John, we weren't even on the same season, and I consider you such a dear friend. So I just think that speaks so much of the experience itself. It's about those connections and a common love of food, something we all share and enjoy together.
It's the ties that bind, I guess. And I hope I got it right as well too. But anyway, but Guy Fong, that's a lot of food for you to think about this evening. Again, I know we're I know I'm still on the Zoom free, so that's why we'll. But again, hopefully as we do a little bit more, hopefully we'll have Nikita back here on our stream live on Twitch, and we'll hopefully have her back on future episodes of our Masterchef Rewind podcast. Again, Guy Fong, thank you so much for being here this evening. I do want to thank once again Nikita for being our very first guest. Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful you took your time. Literally, I was literally at the end of my rope, and seriously, you stepped in. You are my absolute hero. I owe you multiple drinks. I owe you multiple drinks. And Guy Fong, Nikita, we'll definitely see more of her, not just here on this podcast, but also here on the in our stream as well too. Fingers crossed, hopefully soon.
Can't wait.
So, yeah. Again, thank you so much, Nikita. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you for the inspiration, and thank you for taking your time as well too. So once again, Guy Fong, thank you so much. And now, John, right back to you. For those of you who are watching on other platforms, again, thank you very much for your here. Next week, we're going to have a brand new guest. Once again, and hopefully they'll be bringing some brand new stories. Again, thank you so much. Have a great night, and be well, eat well, and always put Asia in your mouth. All right. Have a good night. 3, 2, 1, and we are